Hello everyone, today we are here for another podcast session. My name is Cheryl and I'm an orientation and mobility specialist with Guide Dog Singapore. Today we are actually going to talk about some screen reader options that we have on our smartphones, whether is it the iPhone or whether is it any brand of Android phones that we are thinking of getting or we might already have. Today with us, we have Edwin. Hi Edwin, do you want to give a short self-introduction of yourself?
Hello, Cheryl. Hey, this is the first time that we sort of like meet, right? Even
E-meet each
e-meet in that
other.
sense. Yeah, we
Yes.
don't, we haven't even really chat with each other. This is the very first time, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's kind of amazing, huh? Yeah, and then you really drag me on into this already. Wow. Okay. Anyway, hi everyone. My name is Edwin. In with regards to my vision, I'm actually totally blind. I do not even have light perception. So I'm actually working in SCVH. There's no secret. It's okay, right? Yeah. So I mean, in my past times, I'm a geek person lah by nature. So I like to explore and play with like gadgets, and the smartphone arena has actually, bring a very positive light to people like me, and people who really likes technology so much, and it really allows us to actually gain the rightful independence and to be efficient like any other sighted person. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, so just to give all the listeners a sort of insight to how you use your phone, can you just like maybe tell people what phone you're using and also actually how does this app help you use your phone or how does this function help you use your phone?
Okay, maybe I go to the very beginning history.
Mm.
Cheryl sound very young, huh? Your
Yes.
yeah, your when you start to use phones, what phone actually do you use? Can
My
you
first
remember?
ever phone, is it? It
Ah.
was a Motorola phone. That time it was the
Oh,
first phone that the screen can change color. So I can set it to green,
wow.
orange, blue. But that was my first phone.
Okay.
It cost six
Okay,
dollars with
okay.
the plan.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you actually went through those eras before, huh?
I'm not
Okay.
that young.
Okay. So my very first phone, right? Believe it or not, actually accessibility went as far back as like in the early 2000s. So actually, initially when we use phones, like when the Nokia phones were very popular, right?
Mhm.
We only can use phones to do very basic functions like to press the button and make outgoing calls, right? We
Mm.
don't even have the luxury to look at SMSs, or
Yeah.
for Nokia phones you can do a lot more. You can play games, you can then you can actually download apps already, because there are certain models of mobile phones that are sort of like the beginning tier of what
Mm.
smartphones are like, right? So the very first range of mobile phones that can actually do accessibility was the Symbian 60 mobile phones. So I remember that time when Nokia came up with the 3650,
Oh no.
6600. Yeah. So then there's actually this company that actually wrote this special screen reader
Mhm.
that you can actually buy a license. Then you can only utilize certain models of phones. And
Mm.
every phone you buy, you will actually have to buy, a screen reader license, which costs like close to 300-400 Singapore dollars.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So
crazy.
so when you change your phone, you will actually have to buy a new license.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is very restricted lah, of course. But then when we got to know that, wow, there's this initiative by this company that actually does this, screen reader access for people with vision impairment, we were so excited, because then we can read SMS, we can send SMS, we can make phone calls, we can even go and download certain apps. Of course, that time it was a bit restricted lah, because of
Mm-mm.
then the technology lah. Yeah. So after when Symbian 60 was very popular, of course, then Nokia phones also slowly start to go downhill lah, right? Then
Mm.
that is where Apple came
Whoa.
into the picture. So
Okay.
so Apple, when Steve Jobs actually, in his one of his keynote speech, he actually said that he wants to make phones, his Apple, he wants to make Apple phones accessible to everybody.
Mm.
So then everybody were I guess a lot of people were very skeptical. It's like, hey, you have this brick there's only a glass panel in front, and how would you imagine a blind person using a touch screen based phone,
Yeah.
just like that? So it was really amazing. I remember when one of my pioneers actually started to use the iPhone 3GS, I think it's iPhone 3S, I think so. That was the very
Wow.
first phone that actually had voiceover and accessibility functions. So
Mm.
so when he mentioned to me about this phone, saying that, hey, Apple phones I can actually, use that
Screen
actually has
reader.
accessibility functions and
Mm.
screen reader. I was like, cannot lah. I was quite resistant actually. So after that, he actually showed me how to use, and I said, "Wow, wow, it is
So,
amazing." I mean, with just a touchscreen phone and using like certain gestures, you can actually use a phone like a normal person and do many different things. So after that, when my Nokia phone actually when my Nokia phone spoiled, when my Nokia phone couldn't be used anymore, I have no choice, right? Because then I only have iPhone as an option. So I bought my very first iPhone, which is the iPhone 4.
wow.
That
So
was like in
wait,
2011 or 2010, I
when
think
you
so.
bought this iPhone, right? Do you need
Yeah.
to pay the extra, like don't know how the $300+ for the
Ah,
screen reader?
so that is the thing. So because and Steve Jobs wanted to make his device accessible, it actually opens up, a new wave whereby we call accessibility right out of the box, meaning to say I can just simply buy any iPhone and actually activate the accessibility functionality right out of the box, meaning I don't need to pay extra money
It's
to
in the
buy.
phone already.
Correct, it's inbuilt into the phone
Mm.
itself. Yeah.
Wow. So okay, then what happened after that then?
Yeah, so later on when I start to explore to use iPhones, and then later on as technology enhances, you actually get to, like utilize it with different apps, and slowly and surely you realize, wow, it's like you realize that, you know you cannot imagine that a smartphone can do that much. It
Mm.
is, after all, a smartphone, right? So a smartphone can do so much. You can download apps, you can actually use GPS, you can actually listen to like different radio stations around the world. You can do so many things, and then later on you sort of like realize that, wow, there's so much that you can do, and you realize that, hey, for once, I can actually be on par with any sighted peers, any of my sighted friends. So I just have a phone with me. I can just activate the accessibility functions and actually use a phone like a normal person.
So correct me if I'm wrong, right? Just for the people out there who might not know exactly how Edwin is using his flat screen to like use the phone rather than the usual Nokia buttons, right? Basically,
Yeah.
when your finger moves over the screen, whatever is
Mm.
under your finger, whatever words there are, whatever is it, the phone will read out whatever it is to you
Yeah.
in a voice, right?
Correct. So the whole idea is, because it's a touchscreen phone, you actually use gestures, or you use different gestures to navigate through the screen,
Mm,
and
mm.
by performing different gestures, you will get different outcomes. So the whole idea is, when you navigate through the screen, in any part of the screen that you touch, okay, it will actually just read out to you whatever is on the screen through
Mm.
synthetic speech.
So for example, if you like touch somewhere up the top, it will probably read you a title or something. And then if you touch
Yeah.
somewhere down the bottom, you'll probably like find the back button or like the home
Yeah.
button or something like that.
So basically, there are like for smartphones, right? What you have, I think mainly there are three main items. One is the status bar. So the status bar will give you information on like your phone status, like your battery, the
Mm.
status of
Oh, right
your
up at the
your
top lah.
operator. Yeah, right at the top, right?
The
Then
time, things like
correct, the
that.
time. Yeah, and some of the notifications. Notifications
Mm-mm.
are like items that they want to get your attention, okay? And then after which, what you hear when you touch through the rest of the screens are like what we call your apps, right?
Mm.
So all the various different applications within your phones, right? And then
Mm.
at the bottom area will be your it depends on what phones you are using, but
Mm.
for yeah, so for Android phones, you will actually have like the back and the
The
home
home,
icons. Yeah, and so on and so
the
forth lah.
okay.
Yeah.
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 So, okay, so that's a little bit about how you use your phone and everything. Okay, but
Yeah.
can you just share a little bit more about now?
Mm,
What brands of phone are you using now? And have you tried using like maybe like you said that you started off with an iPhone. Have you tried
right.
using Android phones since then, like Samsung
Yeah.
or Huawei?
So yeah. So what happened is, I mean, as iPhone, I mean, as Apple starts to get very involved in like accessibility within their phones, Android also later on follow
Mm,
suit. So Android later on also realized that, hey, you know, if iPhone or if Apple can actually have such initiatives, we also should also do something like that
mm,
to benefit the community. So later on, Android also came up with so-called accessibility initiatives, and the equivalent to the voice-over screen reader access by Apple is called TalkBack. Okay,
mm.
so the whole objective obviously is the same, whereby whatever it is under your screen, it will actually narrate back to you, right?
Yeah, so
So
literally the phone is talking back to you.
correct, correct. So at first when they came out, it wasn't very established. It had a lot of limitations due to the complexity of Android. Basically, Android it's an open platform, right? Because
Mm,
they open it up to different vendors, to different brands. So the wonderful thing about Android is for from a sighted point of view, lah, you have more choice in terms of price range, in terms of models, in terms of the different screen
mm,
sizes, right?
mm,
You are not controlled. You're not controlled by Apple. So Apple, they only have like certain models within a year. So you only can buy certain models within a year. Whereas for Android, because you got different brands, different screen size, different user interface, different kinds of options, so to speak.
mm, mm,
So you can actually buy different options and different models of phones. Yeah. So that's the difference between Android and Apple. So from an accessibility point of view, I guess because Android, because it's open source, so when you buy an Android phone, you have to be a little bit careful in terms of the phone brands and models that you purchase, right? You don't want to buy something that may have certain limitations or restrictions in terms of the user experience of using the accessibility functions of your phone. Yeah.
mm. Okay,
Mm.
so let me just confirm. So basically what you mentioned just now is that when Android first came up with the idea of having this talkback function, it wasn't as established as the iPhone version called voiceover,
Yeah.
because it's more of like having one talk back for many different types of phones that actually have many different user interfaces,
Correct.
user types. Like for
Correct.
example, if you compare a Samsung to a Huawei, for example, like even like
Mm.
how you would use it typically will be different already.
Yeah, because the whole presentation is very different. So
Yeah,
you can't actually have something that is globalized, not like Apple. Apple,
yes,
because they control the whole
it's only
ecosystem.
Apple. Yeah,
Correct. So you basically have to follow what they say, you see.
correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like for example, even like the music option, like for you to turn on the music, like the music app in a Huawei phone as compared to a Samsung phone might be different already. And
Correct.
how TalkBack even works with like using that app already would be different. So
Yeah,
it wasn't as established. But
correct.
moving to today, right? Like, do
Yeah.
you think it's getting more competitive with the voiceover
Yeah.
function?
So with technology enhancements and people coming to realize that like there is a space for the accessibility community.
Mm,
So even brands like Samsung, they later on actually came up with their own screen reader initiative. They actually
mm,
tag on the talkback or rather the accessibility suite of Android, and they
Android,
actually came out their own version of their own screen reader, which is called Voice Assistant.
which is
So
solely for Samsung phones.
yes, which is solely
Ah.
for not all Samsung phones, but some Samsung phones. It's very ironic, lah. So
Oh.
yeah, because I do come across certain Samsung phones don't actually have like voice assistant. So it's quite funny. It's only the mid-range and the higher range models that actually have voice assistant. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but of course, if there isn't, you can still utilize talkback lah. And as talkback enhancers and the with the community adopting accessibility
Mm,
of smartphones. So Android also realized that we have to back up. So we also have to come up. We also have to improve our accessibility functions
mm,
within Android phones. So I don't know how much some of your listeners here know. Like even Android later also have their own branding of phones called the Pixel phones.
yes.
So so with Pixel phones, obviously you get the best experience in terms of talkback, in terms of the
Pixel
accessibility
is
suite.
under Google, right? So
Yes, correct.
so okay,
Yeah,
because TalkBack is under Google as well. That's why they
correct.
created they sort of um move towards redesigning TalkBack for their own Pixel phones
No,
also
no,
lah.
not really, not really. Because I mean, after all, Google Pixel is their own branding. So,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously they have to ensure that their phones itself can work the can have the best experience using their
Mm,
accessibility suite, right? I mean, how can you have something that is
better
your
for other
own product?
people, but not
Correct,
yours.
lor. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So, but it's never cheap. I mean, if you get, because of the branding and because it's after all
Mm,
phones, so it's not cheap lah. Like when you get iPhones are also never cheap lah. So
yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing lah. But obviously you get the best. You get the best from the the actual developers or the actual
Okay.
in that sense, yeah. Mm.
Okay, so in that sense,
Mm.
right, it just sounds like if I were someone who am shopping for a phone, what I might want to consider is going to a phone shop and checking out the prices of maybe just these three major brands first, like
Okay.
the iPhone, the
Mm.
Samsung, and probably the Pixel, because
I
yeah,
think like this, like looking from a genuine point of view,
mm,
for I mean, I wouldn't want to go into the technicality in terms of like what are the pros and cons, because I know a lot of
mm,
people now, in fact, a lot of, from the community aspects point of view, in fact it's not only in Singapore, but I mean generally the blindness community subconsciously always have this idea that, oh, Apple is always the best, and Android is, it's something that you cannot even touch.
mm,
I don't terribly agree with that, especially for nowadays, because um, as we enhance, technology enhances, accessibility of phones also has come
mm,
very far
yeah,
already, and both Android and Apple does have their pros and cons in terms of the accessibility adoption and so on and so forth, right?
mm,
No doubt, I have to say that there are still certain restrictions that Android has, which it will be a game changer very soon. Based on what we understand from the Android 11's accessibility initiative lah.
mm,
So it's going to be somewhat on par with what iOS can do already, based on what we understand lah. Okay,
okay,
so I guess when purchasing a phone, first of all, you will have to you have to have a budget lah. Huh? Secondly, when you actually go and test out of, I mean, it's always good to actually go and
try it
play
out.
with. Yeah, try out, like there are, especially in those big shops and telcos, they actually have a booth, right, whereby they have
Mm,
like demos of phones over there. So it's good that you get someone who is more familiar with accessibility functionality within a smartphone to actually go with you to just walk through with you to let you have an idea, the different kinds of phones, how it generally functions, whether are you even comfortable with the size, with the functionality,
mm,
with the basic usage of a smartphone. So try out first before you even commit to a
mm,
phone, because you know
mm.
by paying, it takes quite a bit to actually pay for a phone, because a phone can range from like 100 plus to like thousands of dollars, so
Yes.
yeah, so it's better that you try out first and don't immediately commit yourself.
I
It's
think
always good to just try out first. Go to the different shops, different telcos, and just play with it for a few times. Get an idea on what kind of
mm,
size, what kind of phones, what kind of UI you like before you even commit,
I
to
think the
actually getting
most
something.
I think the important takeaway here is that there are options out there other than just the iPhone, because a lot of people might have the misconception, like Edwin just said just now, that iPhone will
Yeah,
be is the best, the only one that has like the accessibility functions. But that is
correct.
actually it might not be so true lah, because like technological advancement and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
what you should do is really just open up to consider the other Android options as well, because they all have this like Edwin said, like most of them have this voice assist or the talkback
Talk
function
back. Yeah.
installed in the phone already. So you don't even need to download the app, but rather you just need to like get someone to go into settings to like show you around, maybe like get the shopkeeper to show you how to turn on the accessibility function, and then just try it
Yeah.
out within the store. But the thing is that always make sure that the phone you buy has that function, because like Edwin said just now, some of the lower range phones might not have that function because it's really just for basic use for probably
Yeah.
someone to make calls, and then they might not have the like accessibility functions.
I, yeah. I think all in all, have an open mind. When
Mm,
you want to dive into the smartphone arena, definitely there are uh, uh, learning curves that you will have to try and
mm,
accept and and try and adopt an open mind um, to explore something that is very new.
yeah.
And then for people who are jumping camp from one OS to another, please do not have this uh, uh, that kind of prejudgmental concept, whereby um y- you know if I want to go to Android, I have they will have this comparison, like, so
Why is
Apple
it
is
not like
doing
my old
what.
phone?
Yeah, why it's not like my old phone? Why I couldn't do something that Apple can do and Android cannot do, and this
Last
and
time
that,
this gesture like that one, why must it like
Correct, correct, correct. So
that?
don't have that kind of mindset, because if you have that kind of mindset, if you have that kind of mental mindset, right, it will be very tough for you to even, convince yourself to
Give it a
adopt something that is
try.
very new. Yeah, but of course, there's no wrong and right one. If you are very comfortable with what you are currently using, then continue to use
Yeah,
law. But if you
correct.
if you are something, if you are someone who is so bold and so bo liao like me, who likes to venture into new stuff, who gets bored on like iOS already, and who wants to jump into the Android arena and see what is the difference between the other OS and the other, and the difference in the different OS and the different accessibility suite
Mm,
of stuff, then go ahead. You see?
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So I think at this point in time, right, we let's not go too much into the details and the technological aspects.
technicality.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
okay.
that word is so difficult. Yeah, all the techie stuff, because
Sure.
I guess someone who wants to know more can either call in to SAVH to check it out,
Yeah,
maybe get like some insights on that, or they can call our office to check it out as well.
yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
our IT teachers to respond to you.
Sure.
That's if you have a little bit more in-depth questions. But for
Yeah.
the regular person, just go and try it out. Uh, yeah,
Mm.
and
Actually,
yep.
yeah. I mean, there are many, many resources online. Of course, if
Oh
you are
yeah.
really not very IT savvy, and you really want to find out from us, you can always call like the various sectors.
Mm,
like GDS and even SCVH. We are more than willing to guide you through, or even
mm,
show you how some of the devices
the
work
basic
in
things.
the basis of how
Yeah,
smartphone works. You see, and what are the advantages? How will it actually benefit you on a daily basis?
yeah,
As a person, how can technology actually enhance your life, you see.
yeah,
Yeah, so after which, then just take it slow, take it easy, and then from there, just and then find something that
yeah.
suits you generally lah, and slowly learn the basics, and come and join this technology world. I mean,
Mm.
yeah,
So
it's an eye opener for many lah, seriously. Yeah.
So just to add on, right, we also
Mm,
have a lot of clients who come to us and they are in the midst of transitioning from having maybe some vision to low vision or towards no vision. And
sure.
so far, maybe on their phones, they've been able to use like their limited vision to perhaps use the magnification function, or maybe
Yeah.
in like very bright light, then they'll be able to see what's on their phone. We have a
Mm,
lot of these clients who actually come to us early before their vision actually starts to continue deteriorating, so that they can learn like the gestures first. They can learn like, oh, actually, like how does this voiceover or this talk back,
mm,
or how do these screen readers work first, to start practicing in their spare time,
mm,
to sort of like get ready to transition over lah. So if you're someone
mm.
like that who um are a bit fearful or like a bit worried about how are you going to continue using technology if your vision is deteriorating, don't worry about that. there are a lot of people out there who are going through similar things as you, because this is a technological age. Just come over and we'll just introduce you to the basics first.
Yeah, I guess about you really have to have that open mindset concept
Mm,
and try and learn new things. It's not going to be easy in the beginning, you know.
mm,
We do heard of clients whereby even when they come for the first time to actually understand about touch screens, they get very nervous, and also because they might have other issues like maybe their cognitive issues are not very good, or you know they can't actually get the idea of touch screen navigation, you know, because it's after all
mm.
very alien to them, you know. I mean, it's like imagine it's like you're touching a piece of glass and you know
Yeah, it
doing
doesn't make
gestures
sense
instead
lah,
of
honestly.
correct instead of pushing buttons, you will have to like use your hand to use your fingers to swipe, you know, and do certain very funny
Correct.
like gestures and so it would get very overwhelming in the beginning. So you know, as I said, like, you know, take some time to actually understand the concepts. Don't
Mhm.
rush, really don't rush into
Take
things,
your
you know.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe when you know have an open mind, when you feel that you want to dive into something, that you know somehow is the mindset like if there is a if there's a will, there's always a way out, one lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so last question, Edwin. I actually wanted to
Okay.
ask this. Like let's say you have a Samsung phone or an iPhone, but I'm a purely Chinese speaking person, Mandarin speaking person. Does voiceover or talkback work in Mandarin?
For now, generally the smartphones should have this auto language switching capability.
Okay.
So but for Android it's a little bit more confusing lah. Ha. Of course, if you are someone who is bilingual and if you want seamless auto language capability, um, then perhaps the iPhone might be easier for you, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So the Android phones can have the same kind of functionality. However, there's a little bit more that needs to be done lah. Yeah, but let's hope that things will improve in the months to come.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
just to
yeah.
clarify, right? Like, let's say my phone is currently set to the English setting lah, because I'm
Mm,
very jiakantang.
mm,
But let's say my phone is set to Mandarin and I
mm.
turn on voiceover. Does it work?
If you are someone who only like adopt like just a single language
Yeah,
person, or meaning you are like
my whole phone is
strictly
in Mandarin. Let's just say
yeah
my
yeah
whole
strict
phone
yeah
is
yeah
in.
yeah correct. So if you are strictly if you strictly converse and you know and are more
Read.
efficient
Yeah.
in the Chinese language efficiency, then that shouldn't pose any potential problems. Yeah, because there are actually text to speech engines in both Android and Apple that
And
you
is
both
that
can
the
and
one
they
that
both
is
support
already.
correct and they both support Mandarin
Okay,
or
so
Chinese.
basically
Yeah.
the original one in the phone, which is either talk, like let's say talkback or voiceover, already can recognize Mandarin if
Yeah,
your phone is.
there are actually Chinese TTS
Okay,
available.
very nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's
but
inbuilt into the I mean the Android and iOS ecosystem lah. Not only Mandarin, no, even Cantonese also I understand.
oh, okay, but
Yeah.
let's say you're a dual language speaker, like a lot of people in Singapore. Let's say, for example, if you're using your phone in English lah, for example, and I send to Edwin a message that says 今天 eat breakfast 了吗?
Yeah, yeah.
Perhaps the iPhone will be better at reading that than the Android phone, is
Yeah,
it?
in terms of the dual language support, it seems like at the moment iPhone seems to be at the upper hand lah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good, but let's hope like things improve lah. Anyway,
That
that's
definitely will improve because you know we do see that there are initiatives that you can have very good dual language support, but as I said, it's a little bit more complex. Yeah.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
sounds like I shall go and irritate some people by sending them dual language messages from now on.
And let's see whether they can
Oh,
actually
you're
receive
using an
correct.
Android, not an iPhone. Very naughty, yeah. Okay, never mind. Okay, so let's end it off here. Any additional things you want to add at this point in time, Erin?
Um, I don't think so. I think whatever I've said, I've already said.
Mm,
So um, as I said lah, be bold to actually adapt and learn new technologies, because
mm,
with the digital age, smartphone is really like our everyday life already. I guess people like people who actually adopt some form of smartphones, I think we all share the same sentiment, whereby we rely so much on technology and our smartphones to do so much. It is something that we really cannot go without.
mm.
I
I
guess no people
totally
like you
agree.
and me. I mean, if you forget to bring your phone, even for just that split
I
moment
cannot.
or that split day, I don't think anybody can tahan.
I
Yeah,
cannot.
exactly. So it has come very far. So adopt new technology. Embrace in technology. You'll
Mm,
find that eventually it's a win-win situation for you lah.
mm.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, my final words are just if you're a family member of someone with vision impairment, or you are just curious to know how someone with vision impairment uses their phone, just go and YouTube it. Just search like how do people with vision impairment use their
Correct.
phone. Because the
Yeah.
first time, okay, so I've been working with guide dogs for about 4 years now lah, and the first
Mm.
time I've seen someone. One of the VI clients using their phone, right? I was very shocked because she's a teenager, and she types super fast on her phone, and she replied my message faster than I text her. So like, okay, whatever. Like it's really very, very heartening, and it's just very exciting to know that like with technology, everyone is just keeping up with one another, and there's no barrier, there's no gap, and it's just very heartening to know that lah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So anyway, I'm gonna end this off here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. Or if you know any more about like the iOS or any of these talkback functions or these voiceover functions or these voice assist functions that we've been talking about, feel free to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next podcast. Okay, we can say bye. Bye.
Bye bye.